I know you're worried at night, I won't find my way. And I'm tired of lying to myself just to get through each day. My head says I should have never left, and then my feet will soon lead to my death. I'm starting to question if God's trying to teach me a lesson. I'm starting to wonder if my true colors changed since I left you. Oh, now I'm all in it gold. My colors are darker and cold. I think it's time that I went home. And I don't understand why I always feel dead and alone. Well, I used to shine bright like gold. Now I'm all in it gold.
I gave up a piece of my heart, then I turned to run. Oh, my head's in the clouds, but I don't feel close to the sun. And the light fades away from my face, and the tears fall like rain. And so I turn my faith. Hope it's me that they say. I'm starting to question if God's trying to teach me a lesson. Lord knows I'm starting to wonder.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Cape Town Safety Symposium. We're about 10 minutes away from takeoff, and pretty much the only thing we have in common with SAFE is our on-time arrivals. I just want to give a quick safety announcement, maybe. If you guys can refrain from walking in between the aircraft, that'll be great. Just on that side. We're just obviously scared of any nicks or bumps and someone else's very, very expensive toys. But we've got about 10 minutes to go. A couple of people we're still waiting for. We're going to have a jam-packed house tonight, fantastic speakers. Hello, Mandy. And looking forward to learning a lot of stuff myself about aviation. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the event as we get going. But this is about your 10-minute call, 10 minutes to landing. And I look forward to the start. Thank you. We'll chat soon. Okay. Gaan aan.
I know you're worried at night, I won't find my way. And I'm tired of lying to myself just to get through each day. My head says I should have never left, and then my feet will soon lead to my death. I'm starting to question if God's trying to teach me a lesson. I'm starting to wonder if my true colors changed since I left you. I used to shine bright like gold. Now I'm all in it gold. My colors are darker and cold. I think it's time that I went home. And I don't understand why I always feel dead and alone. Well, I used to shine bright like gold. Now I'm all in it gold.
I gave up a piece of my heart, then I turned to run. Oh, my head's in the clouds, but I don't feel close to the sun. And the light fades away from my face, and the tears fall like rain. And so I turn my words all into faith. Hope it's me that they say. I'm starting to question if God's trying to teach me a lesson. Lord knows I'm starting to wonder if my true colors changed since I left you.
And I used to shine bright like gold. Now I'm all in it gold. My colors are darker and cold. I think it's time that I went home. And you don't understand why I always feel dead and alone. Well, I used to shine bright like gold. Now I'm all in it gold. I'm starting to question if God's trying to teach me a lesson.
Lord knows I'm
I'm starting to wonder if my true colors changed since I left you. I used to shine bright like gold. Now I'm all in it gold. My colors are darker and cold. I think it's time that I went home. And I don't understand why I always feel dead and alone. I used to shine bright like gold. Now I'm all in it gold. Now I'm all in it gold.
Wonder if you're watching that blood red sun sink under the pines when the day is done. Just a nail in the wall where the pictures would be. Chain link wrapped around my picket fence string. Sometimes I flinch when I hear your name, whispered in the wind 1,000 miles away. Are the skies still blue? Does the I don't know what you've been told, but time is running out, no need to take it slow. I'm stepping to you toe to toe. I should be scared, honey, maybe so, but I ain't worried about it right now. Keeping dreams alive, 1999 heroes. I ain't worried about it right now. Swimming in the floods, dancing on the clouds below. I ain't worried about it.
5-minute boarding calls. We're going to start in 5 minutes exactly. Please grab your seats, ladies and gentlemen.
I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about it right now. Keeping dreams alive. 1999 heroes. I ain't worried about it right now. Swimming in the floods, dancing on the clouds below. I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about it. I ain't worried about it.
Hold my hand, everything will be okay. I heard from the heavens that clouds have been gray. Pull me close, wrap me in your aching arms. I see that you're hurting. Why'd you take so long to tell me you need me? I see that you're bleeding. You don't need to show me again. But if you decide to, I'll ride in this life with you. I won't let go till the end. So cry tonight, but don't you let go of my hand. You can cry every last tear. I won't leave till I understand. Promise me, just hold my hand. Raise your head, look into my wishful eyes. That fear that's inside you will lift, give it time. I can see everything you're blind to now. Your prayers will be answered. Let God whisper how to tell me you need me. I see that you're bleeding. You don't need to show me again. But if you decide to, I'll ride in this life with you. I won't let go till the end. So cry tonight, but don't you let go of my hand. You can cry every
just going to have about a 10-minute delay. I've just got a bunch of messages from people saying there's a bit of hectic traffic, so we don't like doing that, but the ATC's on strike tonight. Just bear with us another 5 to 10 minutes. We're going to get going. Gives you a chance to get one more drink, grab your seat, and we will get started very, very soon. Thanks, guys.
Get someone who's true when the darkness becomes too great. Please, I don't need you to explain. Just look within. Don't be afraid. I've been there too and made mistakes, but I know you're stronger than you think. Now that you're on your way, wherever you walk, you radiate, and you create the destiny that you've been dreaming of. Everything you've been through has led you to this moment. Focus, be present, let your spirit guide you. Whatever mess you're in, whatever mess you're in, the demons you've been fighting. Whatever mess you're in, whatever mess you're in, the demons you've been fighting. Just look within, don't be afraid. Just look within, don't be afraid. All my heroes, let all my heroes, let me
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, balls of fire. I laughed at love cause I thought it was funny, but you came along and you proved me, honey. I changed my mind, the sun is fine. Goodness gracious, balls of fire. Kiss me, baby. Ooh, that feels good, baby. Hold me, baby. I wanna love you like a lover should. You're fine, it's so kind. I'ma tell the world that you're mine, 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 mine. I chew my nails and I twiddle my thumbs. I get nervous, but it sure is fun. Come on, baby, you're driving me crazy. Goodness gracious, balls of fire. Kiss me, baby. Ooh, that feels good. Hold me, baby. I wanna love you like a lover should. You're fine, it's so kind. I'ma tell the world that you're mine, 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 mine. I chew my nails and I twiddle my thumbs.
There we go. Some early technical difficulty, rather that than in the middle of the evening, for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first Cape Town Safety Symposium. I want to thank you for taking the time to come out. I know each and every one of you have got extremely busy schedules and make the time to come join in an evening of aviation fun, knowledge, and understanding of what's going on in our little world. I believe it really just make you either a better pilot, better business person, and just aviation safer in general. We're going to have a little bit of noise going on. As you know, we are right next to Cape Town International Airport with all the big tin taking off the whole time. So if at any stage of the evening you cannot hear any of us, any of me or any of the speakers clearly, please let us know. The feedback is very difficult from stage to know if you guys can understand it. I want to give you a bit of a background on the Safety Symposium. The Safety Symposium, this is the 5th one we've held. The rest were all up-country. And I wanted to make this point clear that this turnout for tonight is absolutely amazing. The rest, thank you, that's my wife. The rest have been well supported, but we'd had about 80 to 100 guests at each. And you know, you always think upcountry, Joburg, Pretoria, that's where all the aviation happens, that's where the people are. And we honestly put way more time into the marketing of those events. This Cape Town event, we've done about 3 or 4 weeks worth of marketing. And yesterday, for the first time ever, I had to send out an email to say, please, can you stop registering? And actually, if you're not sure if you want to come, deregister, because we just had too many people, too much interest. So thank you so much to the Cape Town aviation community. It means that you guys want these kind of events. I know definitely after COVID and all the years of doing everything online, we definitely want it. But thank you for coming out. Thank you for making the effort, being here. That's why we do it, put these things together. It's ultimately for your benefit and safety benefit for all of us together. So please give yourselves a big round of applause. This clicker is very optimistic. Okay, let's do that. These events, of course, could not take place ever without the generosity of our sponsors. Now, these sponsors you see on this screen has really been, the majority of them has been with us for years. For the last 10 years, we've done all kinds of aviation events throughout South Africa. And you always have the same 5 or 10 companies that pick up their hands, write some checks, or just show up with their ways to make an event amazing. This is important. I'm going to wait for this machine. I want to make this point clear. These are the guys that make aviation work. These are the guys that work behind the scenes that never really get the recognition. And they're all aviation type companies or very tied to aviation. And I want to urge you, when you make any of your normal purchasing decisions, to look at these companies, support them, because they are the guys who are selflessly supporting our community. And that's what makes us grow and prosper. So please look at these names, and let's give every one of our sponsors a really big round of applause. Thank you, guys. Our speakers are fantastic. We couldn't have planned a better lineup than this. There we go. Our guest speakers really range from a lot of different topics in aviation. I'm really excited to hear what each and every one of them are talking about. I'm even excited about what I'm talking about. I got to see my slides for about 5 minutes earlier. So we're going to figure it out together. I think Andrew Fasagi, Dean Tucker. Now, Dean is very interesting. I had a conversation with Dean earlier. Dean's one of the sponsors at SGS Aviation, and they've got really big plans of moving into the Cape Town space. And Dean said this has been amazing. Just today, walking in here, he met someone that can give him some potential really good business. I'm really looking forward to hear what Dean has to say about their space. And I'll do his introduction. We're proud to introduce SGS as a valued sponsor of the Cape Town Safety Symposium. When you need to be sure, SGS is the world leading testing, inspection, and certification company, bringing over 145 years of service excellence to industries worldwide. They've got global excellence with local impact. 2,500 laboratories and facilities across 115 countries. 99,500 dedicated professionals working for them. Swiss precision and accuracy, and trusted by organizations seeking the highest standard of quality, compliance, and sustainability. Their mission is to provide worldwide independent services that make a real difference in people's lives through testing, inspection, and certification. From aviation manufacturing, SGS helps businesses thrive with confidence through trust, integrity, and reliability. Values that perfectly align with our commitment to aviation safety. Hey, what this is all about, right? So I'd like to introduce Dean Tucker. Please come to the stage. We'd love to hear from you. Dean, where are you? There you are. There's the Dean.
Thanks very much.
Over to you,
I need that clicker, please.
if it works.
Thank you very much. That was a whole bunch of stuff. Does anyone know about SGS? Put your hands up. I know one person knows. See, that's why I'm here. I'm here to actually show us. We've been in the industry, I've been in the industry for 30 years. I do audits in Cape Town all the time. But the word SGS and what we do, no one understands the word. First of all, what does SGS stand for? And it's a French word, okay? Systems General de something. And we based in Europe, and we've been there, as you saw, from 1878 when the company was first started. But our services that we provide are very vast. You would have heard about ISO standards, 9,000, 14,000, all of those standards. We do those audits. And I'm just the aviation wing of a whole bunch of things. So I do the aviation audits, and I'm the head of aviation compliance, and I work for Business Assurance. It's a division of business assurance that I work for, just the aviation side. And yeah, I've been with SGS probably about 12 years now. But before that, I've worked with the company for 20 odd years. We have a team of very small people in Joburg. These ladies that are with me here actually run the business. They run anything. I'm around at the seminars chatting to you people and trying to get things done and running around the globe. So what do? All our auditors that we have on our system are either pilots or engineers. I'm an aircraft engineer by trade, so when I walk into a hangar like this is my life. And I just love being in the aviation industry. So when I see you people sitting here and I see aeroplanes and I see that sort of stuff, I'm just in my element. So this is where I like to be, and I know that you are sitting around the tables here. You also love aviation, and that's why you're here tonight, not just for the pizza. Okay, so all our auditors, when they come to us, we make them lead auditors. So we train them in the lead auditors processes, and they're very passionate about their jobs. And when I hire people, it's normally the older generation who decided that they don't want to do any flying anymore. They don't want to work in the hangar anymore. It's cold in the winter. And they would rather come and do some auditing. And everyone thinks they can be an auditor, but it takes a very dedicated person and a very interested person and someone with a passion to be an auditor. And it's not about a stick. It's about getting us to the next safety levels. And what do? It's risk management. Okay, we had a chat just now earlier. I had a chat with Donovan. We were talking risk management, and there's a whole process behind it. Yes, maybe the airfield doesn't meet the criteria, but would you rather drive on a road with potholes in it for the next 4 hours at 1 o'clock in the morning? Or do we fly an aircraft out of that runway? So those are the things we need to look at, and we need to be real about it, okay? And safety is real. We live in a country where everything's different. I work in 43 countries in Africa. I've been to every single one of those. I've got 10 more to go, so my map's almost done. I'll tell you when it's finished. I'll hope to see you in the meetings again. And then I work for Africa and Europe and the Middle East, so I deal with all of those countries. And then I've also got offices, I'll show you quickly, around the globe. We've got North America, we've got an office in North America where we have Argus Aviation that does our work there for us. We also got South America offices. Just hold on. That's my section in the middle. And then we've got Australia, based in Melbourne. We have an office there too who runs the whole of the east of the world. So I deal with all of those regions from a governance point perspective to make sure that their documentation and paperwork's in line with all their regulations. And we work hand in hand with all the clients that we work with around the globe. So we work with all the mining industry. That was our first input that we started in. So all the mining clients, the big mining clients, BHP Billiton, Rio Tinto, Anglo Gold Ashanti, all of those people, we deal with those people around the world. And the type of services that we look at, sorry, I need to point over there. So we run with airfield inspections, and this can go from anything from an airport like we're talking here today, or it can go to a dirt strip in the middle of Africa. Okay, wherever the mining people are. And you remember there's different phases of mining approaches. So you'll get from the first guy on the ground who's working, picking up the rocks, and he needs to do his inspection, so he might take a helicopter there. So we'll go and have a look at the field that he's running at, or we'll look at the airfield that he's landing at. And we'll do that inspection and risk assess it, of course, because you know what it's going to look like out there. And they might bring in equipment to come and clean it or not, or we might just land in the middle of nowhere. But it's about that risk assessment. Helipad inspections. A lot of discussion now that's coming up with putting in helipads all around our areas in Johannesburg and looking at all the hospitals and the helipads that we need to set up there. And then helideck inspections. I had the privilege 2 weeks ago to be in the Gulf of America. That's the new name. When I said Mexico, everyone looked at me funny when I was on the rig. So that's my passion, being out on the rigs, dealing with those helicopters and those rigs out in the middle of nowhere. And then we do the friction testing on those rigs. And that equipment that you see over there is a friction tester that we take with us. And it does exactly that. It tests the friction of the helicopter on the helipad. So we give the reports on those things, and it lasts for a year. And that feeds back to the actual operators of those things, like Subsea 7 and those big companies. And then operator audits. Anyone fly-in, fly-out operations. So if you're using a Learjet or you're using a King Air 200, we'll do those inspections on those aircraft for the mining industry or any industry people like that we need to do. And then we have a thing called the ARC, which is an airline risk calculator, which is a program that we have. We check all the airlines around the world. I think we've got over 600 airlines on there right now. And that's an add-on that we have that gets promoted to our clients. And when they travel with their people and they book airlines, they can see a risk rating on every one of those airlines. And they can take that risk rating into account when they do their booking. So they, right from their normal flights all the way to their charter flights, everything's been risk assessed. So they can put that into process. All right. Any questions? I only had 10 minutes and I've gone 15. Any questions? Everyone's silent. So you know what SGS does now. I'll give someone the mic. They can tell everyone. No, thanks everybody. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Dean. That's it, Ania. There we go. Finally. Thanks, Dean. Cheers. Dean from SGS Aviation. Thanks, Dean. We really appreciate you guys supporting us. Makes it all worthwhile. Okay, the next speaker has played an extremely vital part in my life over the last 3 years. We've spent a lot of time deep diving aviation-specific issues around emotional health and mental health. That's not Dean, that's Andrew. There's Andrew. He's going to come back. So Andrew is a clinical psychologist, a husband, father. He loves surfing, freediving, skating, and living life. He earns his stripes in the throes of anxiety, depression, and substance abuse in his younger years, and believes in taking control of your lives through neurological, psychological, occupational, and relationship perspective. His journey towards becoming a psychotherapist is based on his own journey. supplemented by his studies in his late 20s and early 30s. He worked in many areas, from public hospitals, prisons in New Zealand, the University of Pretoria, the Western Cape Education Department, and his own current private practice. He's written his story many times and believes that we all have the power to be authors of our lives we meant to live. He deals in hope, prosperity, and authenticity. These are but some of the ingredients he has poured into you, the protagonist, where he invites everyone to become the author of their next chapter. Please help me welcome Andrew Fasaki.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, Frans.
Good luck with the clicker.
And the clicker. Dual wielding, 2 hands. All right, thank you very much for the opportunity to be up here. And listening to Dion speak, all the checks and balances that aircraft go through, and from friction testing to all the regulations that have to be met. When we look at our own lives and we look at our own bodies, we're often flying blind. And we don't know what the gauges are saying, and we don't know what the feedback that we are receiving, what it means. And what's even worse, we look at people around us, our children, our partners, our friends, and they're going through turmoil and we don't even know why. We go have a drink, we do our best to try get them out of it, but often we fall short. And when we fall short, we not only lose the person, but we lose the potential. We lose the person they could have been, which in my opinion is probably the greatest tragedy. So just show of hands, who's married, who's got a partner? The majority. Who's got children? Yes. So, so keep that in mind as I go through this talk.
More children than partners, I see.
Well, it's prosperity, right? We're going forwards. There should be more. So just keep all of them in mind as I'm going through this. And what I'm going to share with you guys today, we've focused it on the aviation industry, but it's really born from my experience in practice, from my experience as a human, and born from the wisdom that I've so gratefully earned and received from the people that I got to serve over the last 10 years. So I invite you on this journey. I invite you to open up your mind, open up your hearts, to learn what the gauges mean. We're not only flying by the gauges, but we're really the pilots of our own lives. I'll try to keep the aviation puns to a minimum. All right, so from dream to captain. So most of the pilots that I've met and most of the humans that I've met start their lives off with a massive dream, something to look forward to, something to chase, something that they're really excited about. And in the aviation industry, many of these young people grow up watching planes and seeing the helicopters and seeing everything around them, and they know, I want to fly. I want to be up there in that cockpit. I want to be the captain of that plane. I want to get there. And then you go through absolute hell. You do the PPL, and then you need to get your hours up, and that, some people go fly up in Africa and do all kinds of things, and eventually you get your comm, if that's your thing, and then eventually you get to be a captain, or you get to be a pilot, wherever you are in your journey. And then what? And this is the crux. The then what is almost more important than getting there. Because the thing that sustained that journey is that dream that you had to get there. And if we have that dream and you can see the process, you can endure the failures and the setbacks to get there, and you believe enough in yourself, then you'll achieve it. But the critical component is you releasing dopamine. And dopamine sustains the effort. It keeps you going. It's not the happy neurotransmitter. It's the one that keeps the engines turning. And then we run out of dopamine when we hit that goal, when life happens, when we become overwhelmed by stress and by everything that happens to humans, trauma, etc. I'll get to that. And then we become dopamine depleted. And we end up getting it in all the wrong things. And I'm not going to be up here going through the criteria of depression and anxiety. That's not my jam. We know there's a zebra in the bath. We've counted the stripes. We've done everything. We know it's there. I'm going to help you figure out why it's there. I see what you mean. You gotta really be intentional. Maybe you can help me. There we go. All right, so let's go back. The marshmallow test. And the W got lost there. So this is a fascinating test that was done in Stanford University many years ago, and they gave kids marshmallows. I'm sure many of you saw this, and they gave a child one marshmallow and then told them if they waited, they would get another one. And then some of the kids just gobble up that one. They've got no self-control. They just try it. And then some kids wait. And they can wait because in their mind they can see the second marshmallow and they can endure the pain of going through that waiting process. And then they get their marshmallow. Now, what makes this study fascinating is they track these kids longer throughout their lives in a longitudinal study. And the kids who waited for the marshmallow performed better in high school. They earned more eventually. They just achieved more because they could delay the gratification. And that's the importance of having that plan, having that thing that you need to work towards. And if you can't delay the gratification, you're going to gobble up the marshmallow in the short term, and it's probably going to come in the form of something that's going to destroy your life. I'll get to that better. All right, so to keep in mind, that part of the brain that modulates all of this, the waiting, the process, the planning, is called the prefrontal cortex. We'll get back to that just now. And this is where the magic happens. This is where you reside in Afrikaans. I really like the term isheid. And for my one KZN compatriot that I met, isheid, you got to pick on the KZN guys, I'm sorry. The term isheid means being. It is your essence. It's what you were made to do. That resides up here. All right, so that's what we're after. We want to preserve that. There we go. So what could go wrong? We all heard the term being triggered, and it's got a bad rep because of all the far leftists and the liberals and all of that. Everyone's triggered. But the important thing to understand is when someone is triggered and goes into that fight or flight, the prefrontal cortex is offline. More importantly, when we go into that fight or flight, the part of your brain responsible for communication and speech production, what's called Broca's area, it's up front and left here, also goes offline as your brain reprioritizes its resources to help you run or fight. That's the parietal lobe back here. The second part to go dormant is that prefrontal cortex. All right, so now when you're in trouble, you're in a cockpit, something's happening, you're going down, someone riles you up, or you had a fight with your wife or your partner at home, or your kid's sick or whatever, you're in that fight or flight. You're not going to be making good decisions. And in the long term, you're going to lose track of that long-term path that you're heading towards. And that's really important, right? You can't solve problems. You can't operate in that space. Keep that in mind. So survival mode ends up replacing thriving. But how does that happen? All right. I'm going to jump the gun now. Can we go? There we go. So living in chronic stress and adrenaline increases the cortisol levels in your body. In the long term, that compromises your immune system. You get sick more often. And we then use substances, like in the previous slide, we use substances that give us that dopamine kick, like alcohol. And alcohol is a bit of a scourge in our environment because it's sanctioned and it's commonly accepted. But when we metabolize alcohol, we produce dopamine. So it gives you that kick. So you go through the difficulty of enduring the week and everything, but I'm going to have that drink on Friday. Or when I get to the hotel and you have that drink and you get your dopamine. And next time you need to get your dopamine, you go back to alcohol. But here's the other kicker. The more you drink, the more you have, the higher your dopamine threshold, the lower your baseline. And then that means you need to keep on going. Another way we use to distract is through food. When you have a full belly, you produce serotonin. Now, serotonin is the rest and digest neurotransmitter. Full belly, serotonin release, it keeps you in that rest and digest state. But now you need to keep on eating. All right, so gaining weight, alcohol abuse, your sugary foods, your diabetes, obesity, these things have powerful impact. And it's all got to do with your body and the route that you are on. It puts strain on your relationship because you are not online. Everything feels like a threat. Your partner just gives you feedback or asks for something, and there you go. And we get stuck in cycles of attacking, blaming, defending. And so we go. All right, our relationships erode, they disappear from underneath us because we're stuck in that fight or flight. And that is what anxiety is. We feel unsafe. We're in that fight or flight. When we have that dopamine depletion, we're on our way nowhere. That prefrontal cortex, diacete, becomes depressed. And that's what depression is. So recontextualizing mental health into understandable feedback loops within your body so that you can gauge your behavior, what you are overindulging in, whether it be exercise, food, alcohol. If it's destroying you, if it's then it's a problem. So learning to read the gauges so that you can, with enough self-awareness, know when you are in trouble. Now, it's got a bad rep. Yeah, you're depressed or you're anxious. You go see a doctor, they give you pills, they give you medication. But those pills and those medication keeps you artificially buoyant. It puts you in a state of rest and digest, but you didn't earn it. You're not en route. So now you're making the space that's supposed to be uncomfortable, comfortable, and you just sit in that. So be mindful. All right, so if you have partners, if you have kids that are going through this, think back, okay, we need to get back and plan our route. If you're not moving, you're going down. If you're not flying, if you don't have that forwards momentum, you're gonna go down. All right, can we skip to the next one? There we go. So what I've been talking about is hope. When you have that goal and you can endure the path to get there and you believe enough in yourself, those three elements constitute the elements of hope, according to C.R. Snyder, the hope expert. When you have hope, you have dopamine. So if in your career, in your life, where you're going, if you don't have that plan and you find yourself in limbo, floating around, you are vulnerable. If you are adrift, you're going to run out of fuel and eventually you're going to ditch. So we need to work preemptively and we need to cultivate, again, that self-awareness. Only you can read those gauges. Only you are in the cockpit that's your body, that's flying to the destination of your choosing. And if you're not doing that with intent, you're going to go down in your dopamine and you're going to get depressed. All right. So I've explained this, that overdrive pulls you away from your authentic self. It makes you depressed. When you're vulnerable and you live in fear, you live in that adrenaline state, you become anxious. And that reactivity leads to distraction and addiction cycles, and that's a slow decay. All right, so if you're not progressing, you're regressing. Everything in life, everything on this planet is either growing or dying. And you have to choose where you are in your life. You're either going up or you're going down. And don't become complacent or comfortable in a space that your body is telling you is uncomfortable. If those lights are going on, you need to heed that warning. Struggling. Donkey. So the dangers in the polls that we ran and what we looked at when we asked the pilots, the top stuff that came up is alcohol and overspending. And this is where Frans comes in, and he's got a real heart for this element, is when you get to that goal and you don't feel that sense of satisfaction or you simply just become complacent, then we reach for short-term gratification. We buy flash cars, we buy things we don't need. You get that dopamine, you create the sense of progression. I'm sorry for the sponsor who put the cars out. You create that sense of progression. You give yourself that satisfaction, that reward. But once you have that, it's on to the next and on to the next. And so these guys get to 60, 70 years old and they can't retire because they ate the marshmallow instead of waiting for the second one. So be mindful in financial planning if you find yourself to be a spender. If you're not working consistently towards that goal, you need to ask yourself a set of questions. Then you're not getting your joy out of your journey anymore. you're supplementing with other things. Protective factors, financial planning, family, relationships. All right. And relationships is one of those things that I'm really passionate about, and one of my drivers in my practice with my lovely wife, who's also a psychologist, is to save relationships, to bring people back together, to get us to speak the same language so that we can drive goals, that same outcome, so that we can unite our forces and turn our relationships into dopamine mines and not war zones and places to avoid. And that's really important. I can really hop on that. So sustainability is about asking the question, what's next? And don't be fooled. Asking what's next doesn't mean that you're not grateful for where you are or what you have. It means that where you are and what you have is a launch pad, a foundation to go to your next. All right, we got to keep on dreaming. If you're not dreaming, you're dying. People go and they retire, and interestingly enough, for men, the average lifespan in a retirement home is 5 years. Because we run out of hope. We're not out there hunting. We decay and we die. Women, interestingly enough, when their husbands pass, they live way longer. And this is anecdotal, but my theory is that, guys, we're making life miserable for our wives. And when we're not there anymore, they're like stoked. They can get on and they can live life again. And that's something we need to fix. We need to bring that to our families, to our children, so that we can heal more than just our homes, but the greater community. All right, can we, Theo? Nader. All right. Sounds like Uncle Paul's bedtime stories. I don't know if you remember those. All right, can we skip? All right, so narrative therapy. The reason why Frans and I built You, the Protagonist, together is because there's such a stigma around mental health. And pilots are by nature individualistic people who like to do things themselves. They fly the plane, they plan, they do the thing. And in narrative therapy, you rewrite your own story. You go through the process of looking where you came from. There's this concept called developmental trauma, which means that you encode everything from the get-go. You've got this part of your brain called the limbic system that modulates and regulates memory and emotional regulation, and your hippocampus is the first part, and that is encoding everything. For the first 6 to 8 years of your life, it consists mostly of what is called mirror neurons, and the mirror neurons enables you to have that empathy, that human connection, and that's why we need to go all the way back. So I can't force any of you guys to go for therapy or to do this, but I encourage you to reflect on your story and what you bring to the here and now and how it's affecting your health, your progression, and your relationships. And it's an amazing thing when you rewrite, when you relive that story, when you re-engage with your narrative, your experience of the world changes, and that's the magic. We turn that wisdom, that hurt, and the stuff that you bring to the here and now into gold, into something that informs you and doesn't dictate you. For those people who are in real trouble, I always suggest a body-based therapy. Just talking about it is really good, but going into it and feeling it and dealing with the emotions that you do not want to feel so that you can stop feeling them is the only answer. And my practice consists mostly out of women or from women, female clients. And guys, it's because we push these things under. We cry in silence, or we don't cry at all. We drink it away, we laugh it away, we suppress it. Don't do that. You're not doing yourself or anyone a favor. And then personal awareness and skills development, where I'm really excited, or what I'm really excited about, is this process that we call this relationship thing. That's also part of Captain's Circle, the offering there, and that's all about how to turn your relationship into a healing space by upskilling yourself. I told you about You, the Protagonist, which is the narrative therapy one, and then Rock Rabbit, which is also a project that we're working on, and that's about discovering that greatness within that all of us have. And perhaps becoming a pilot or becoming a captain wasn't the destination, but just a waypoint. And that can be unsettling and jarring as well if you work so hard to get there. So keep that in mind. So the goal is to sustain dopamine through intentional growth, to prevent that dopamine crash, and to never give up on those dreams, and to become a catalyst and a dopamine farm for the dreams of others. So from marshmallows to meaning, brief insight into the brain, sustaining hope, financial planning and wealth creation as a critical part of not only your life, but your dopamine and your mental and physiological health, and applying therapy and communication and career guidance. All right. You can read through that, but the take home for me is the Socrates quote: "The unexamined life is not worth living." So most of you are high flyers, literally and in life, and never stop examining your life, never stop examining where you are heading. And if you're losing velocity or you're losing altitude, check in. There's a lot of tools out there, and don't put shitty fuel into your aircraft, because it's just a matter of time. All right, that's
Andrew.
it from me.
Guys, how amazing was that, eh? Thanks,
I-
Andrew.
I usually have a whiteboard and I draw pictures and I'm very animated, but I try to stay away from me. I try to keep this short.
Thanks, Andrew. I think that was incredible. What do you guys think? Some really good insight, a bit of a different angle, things that we don't really talk about every day. One of the taboos, is emotional health and I think finance. And I've squared myself in between the middle of both. Andrew, I really want to thank you. I think the work that you're doing with, especially within the aviation community, and he's done a lot of work. He's done probably 2 years worth of work of deep diving into how he can take all these programs and ideas and really tailor it for the aviation community, for pilots. And we've really seen that's a big need, and we'll roll it out with Captain Circle over the years. We've really got quite a good community going, and that's really thanks to you and your hard work. And before we continue any further, I just wanted to tell you guys about a very exciting competition we're doing tonight. There's something we haven't done before. And the competition is going to be you doing your best pilot announcement interpretation. So for a lot of you guys, it's a bit unfair because you've done a couple of million. So the guys who actually do it, especially that table over there, they do it every day 50 times. Well, when they're not late. For you guys, I think just do something funny. Like, don't do like the normal thing, or maybe think in your career that 1 or 2 funny ones that you knocked out the park. So think about that. I will need at least 5 guys to do it. And I think to make it a bit interesting, I think right now, all the comm pilots, if you've got a comm or ATP, please stand up. Also gives us a bit of a head count. Hey, look at that, the backbone of South African aviation, because they're still here. I mean, some of you are on your way out, but the ones that are still here. Thanks for coming through tonight. So remember that, guys. It's going to be a very cool one. We're going to do it right at the end with like a big prize giving and everything. You can come do your 1-minute spiel. We can all laugh, have a little bit of fun around it. But yeah, get those motors going. Because I'm also the MC, that normally doesn't happen, and we're really missing David here tonight. David's fantastic at these events. He's done lots and lots of them, got lots of practice. I needed to ask Andrew to do an introduction for me going into my speech. So I'm going to go stand over there, and then and I'm going to come back. Okay, thanks, Andrew.
Let's do that. All right, so I know Frans has got a heart for the aviation industry and for pilots specifically, because he approached me with a lot of insistence, asking me, like, he needs help with this thing. As amazing as he is, he can't do everything, and he really needs something to bring to this field that can help the people that he serves. So I know he's got a heart for people. So Frans is the founder of Pilot Insure, Captain Circle, and Air Crew Mental Health. Frans started Pilot Insure because he saw pilots getting a tough deal on insurance just for being pilots. In 2013, He made it his mission to get pilots fair and a comprehensive loss of license insurance. He's helped over 2,000 pilots worldwide, and they often say he treats them like friends. And that is something that France can't fake, is the relationships that he builds with people and the care he holds for those around him. I can say that with conviction. He also created the Captain Circle, a global group that's focused on helping pilots with their money, mental health, and overall resilience. And France combines his finance knowledge with real empathy.
Where we've got thousands of pilots all across the world flying for all kinds of airlines. And it's nice that we've got to see what happens and what the movements are and the reasons why people move around to airlines. I'm also quite interested in the AI space and what's happening there in aviation. And I thought I'd put something together to just show you what's happening in the AI space in aviation, what I think and believe is going to happen, what the numbers are showing us is going to happen in the next 15, 20 years. And with Captain Circle, then bring that back in a way that we can help pilots protect themselves from it. Now, something that's not on the slide that I just wanted to share with you is in aviation specifically. In the last 50 years, we've had 6 pretty catastrophic events that brought aviation to a standstill. COVID is obviously the latest one. There's been recessions, there's been all kinds of things, but that's a lot. And if you look at those numbers, you know, it's less than once every 10 years that there's some kind of event that brings aviation to our knees. And part of my mission is to help my clients and my community face all of those, so that whatever happens next, and it's going to happen next, that you are prepared for it, and that there's something you can do about it. No, too many. I think if you just do it, please. I think one more. No, one. There we go. So I think we all know that the aviation community and industry is experiencing an unprecedented demand for pilots. Now, automation really threatens that and creating both opportunities and risk for future pilots. Did we do it at the same time? No, one more. Okay. Now, Boeing says the next 15 years is going to be the most lucrative period in aviation history, specifically for pilots and aircrew. Boeing and Airbus, and this is all freely available information, thinks that in the next 20 years, all the fleets are going to double in size, from 25 to 50,000. And this massive surge really underscores the urgent need for skilled pilot workforce going forward. And the question is really, where are those people going to come from? How long will this demand last? And how does it affect pilots globally? Boeing also forecasts that we need 660,000 new airline pilots in the next 20 years. And that's ATPs, so it's not common, ATP level. And I did quite a lot of research and deep dive. It was quite hard to come up with these numbers. The problem isn't that we can't produce pilots. We can produce 1 million comm pilots in the next 20 years. And that's if nothing changes. That's the way it is right now. But what we're seeing is a massive jump from comm to ATP, where only 34% of pilots actually become ATP pilots. Now, there's lots of reasons for it, but this is the pure numbers. And if you just deduct the two from each other, it means we're going to have a shortfall of 320,000 ATP pilots in the next 20 years. Now, those numbers are crazy. I had to triple, double check it just to make sure. And I think one of the problems in this drop-off rate is the intense commitment that's needed for a new pilot to get from comm to ATP. I think that's the big problem, where guys are starting out in their careers, and in that first 10 years, they've got to do the not-so-great flying. You know, they've got to fly small machines in the middle of Africa, the aircon doesn't work, the clients are grumpy tourists, all these kind of things. And now I know a lot of pilots would say then they're probably doing it for the wrong reasons. right? Like if they're not passionate enough about it, sure, I think that could be the case. But what about the guy who's really passionate about it, loves it, working away for 2 months, 3 months at a time? He comes home to a braai, and his dad friend says, "Man, I can pay you the same money, and you can just come work in my shop down the road." Yeah, I think those guys quit. I think they just get out of aviation before they actually go up the ranks and get the opportunity to get into the airline space. I'm going to act like the clicker works and then just look, yeah. Okay, so I think I did a really cool thing. I did a poll on my LinkedIn community. I've got a nice big community there. I did 2 different polls. The one I looked at the South African market specifically, and the other one I looked at the international market to see what people think out there. Like, what do they think are the reasons that guys aren't making it? Can you see that? Okay, I don't know if you can see. Can you read what those descriptions are? But basically, I put 3 options. Funding, don't want to do the dirty flying, misrepresentation from the start, or are they just a bunch of young, entitled brats? And I had to put a bit of comedy in there for the last one because I thought I'd get all serious. And something interesting happened. I was expecting this. The South African market, the misrepresentation was the issue. I thought funding would definitely be the biggest challenge. Where in the global market, funding was the problem. So I didn't have the answers to all of these things, but I can just see what the data says and what people are saying is going out there, on there. And I wanted to leave it with you about, because really in this room, if you think about it, coming out to these kind of events makes you a thought leader in the aviation space. It means that right here tonight, we've got access to a lot of really big brains, and it makes me feel great because you never want to be the smartest guy in the room, right? So I know I'm in the right room then. And I wanted to leave this with you to think about it. It's like, how are we going to do this? Like, what kind of things can we implement? Like, should we be going to big financial institutions, big banks, and building special products for pilots to get to com? But then I thought, that's not the problem, because the question isn't here that we're struggling to get to com. The question is here, we're struggling to get to ATP. So that then says that the funding problem isn't funding the com. The problem is that the entry-level salary is probably too low for the guys to stick around long enough to do it. Maybe they see their friends just earning 10 grand a month more than what they're earning, and then, decide to jump ship. Okay. On the AI side, we've looked at the automation and what I think is the most probable thing to happen. So by 27, we'll see some of the VTOL stuff going up, I think, in quite big numbers, especially as it gets cheaper. And 35, I see some early adoption with single crew operations. There's been lots of testing done around that already. And then probably by 2045, we'll see the production of some of the first fully AI-capable airline machines. And it's 20 years from now. 20 years, I don't think any of us really want to believe it, but 20 years in the tech space is an extremely long time. That's very long. Next slide, please. Also wanted to give it a little bit of good news for the next 15 to 20 years for pilots. As this demand increases and we can't supply pilots to the airline, simple supply and demand graph means that your salary is going to increase. And then how guys are being enticed to fly in different countries as certain areas expand faster than others. And of course, regulatory changes where with time it's becoming a little bit easier and easier licensing in different countries. See you next slide. This is maybe the most interesting one out of them all, and this is the AI cliff, and here you can see how, with time, the peak happens with the amount of pilots needed, and the automation starting, and full AI aircraft being produced and flown. And this gives us, in my opinion, 20 to 25 years once this really kicks off. And that's great. I mean, if you are, 40, 45, really going to have a good ride. Like the last 20, 25 years, it's going to be exceptionally good. As we see Boeing in 24 announce completion of the second round of their live trials. And in various polls, 80% of people said that they won't fly if there's not a pilot. That to me means 20% will already do it, and it doesn't even exist yet. And what it also means is, or the way I think about it is, we're not the target market necessarily in 20 years' time. In 20 years' time, the target market is our 10-year-old, 15-year-old kids. They're the guys who are going to be doing all the flying. And if you've got a 10-year-old at home, you know how they smash that iPad and the videos, and it'll be much easier for them. And if you're sitting thinking, yeah, I actually think my kid will do it, it proves the point. Because in this room, we should be the guys, you should be the guys throwing me with tomatoes right now, because you don't want this to happen. But if you're saying, yeah, I think my kid will do it, well, then the general population definitely thinks it's going to happen. And the biggest players right now have got the big teams and the billions of dollars behind it, the Boeings and the Airbuses. They're already on it. They're already building it. Next slide. Maybe you're the last full career pilot humans. Maybe in 20 years' time, it's not really something that's going to be around anymore. It'll be around because all the machines that exist, I mean, someone's got to fly them, right? So all the machines getting a bit older, they'll be there. But they'll just be replaced with time. That means really cool. Just think about the stories you're going to be telling when you're an old man about flying at 210 in the bush. Like no one else is going to have the opportunity to do that. Next slide. Looks a bit doom and gloom, maybe sounds a bit doom and gloom. I think we've got the opportunity for you to actually do something about this. So just like one of those 6 catastrophic events in the last 50 years, which no one saw coming, this is perhaps one we can see coming. This is perhaps putting you in a really good position to absolutely maximize your exposure, your income, your deal making, the next job you're taking, to really maximize that for yourself in the next 15 to 20 years, really build up massive capital, and really look after yourself and your family. So my mission really is to make sure you have a plan. Whether that's preparing for the AI disruption, whether there is a plan for retirement, whether you've got a 10, 15, 20-year plan for a proper exit strategy, maybe out of aviation completely, maybe you just want to fly for fun. And that's why Captain Circle was built, and a lot of the emotional health stuff and a lot of tools that we've put into it to really help this community think a bit forward, think about what's coming in the future, have really solid plans for it, and to make sure that you have done everything you can to protect yourself from that next boom. Next slide, please. All right, so I invite you guys all to take full control of your finances in the same way that you control your aircraft. If you'd like to take out your phone, these are, I think the LinkedIn one doesn't work. But you can do the Squirrel Community or the 7-day boot camp. The 7-day boot camp is really cool. It's something I put together specifically for pilots. It's a 7-day course that really, after 7 days, I think you'll talk finance like a Harvard grad. Like I took all my experience into a big 7-day boot camp, and you can just smash it at the end. Is that the last slide, I think? All right. Hey? How am I going to hear you from here? Hey? No, I can't. Yeah, just use the mic. Like, use the mic. That's fine.
Franz, I want to ask if you want to do Q&A. You still have time.
No. I'm trying to do it. I'm actually trying to do it a bit faster. But well spotted. Thanks, Steve. Okay, that's my talk. That's the talk on the pilot gold rush. I know it maybe sounds like it's a little bit depressing. I don't think so. I think it's just a bit of dose of reality for us all to see where we're going, where the industry's going, and maybe just a bit of a kick up the butt side to say that we've got to be awake for this. And I've built all these products, all these amazing things to help you. Just reach out. I can show you, I can guide you through the way and the process to put all of this in place. All right, that's my talk. So now, this is break time. Okay, now we're going to have a break. Hopefully we're going to have some more pizzas coming out. I'm just going to remind you of that competition later with the funniest radio call. Okay, and I'm expecting someone at this table to win, actually. Maybe Paul, you can do a funny one for us. Enjoy the break. We're going to put some music on, get some pizzas. There's a couple of things I actually forgot. The wine glasses at the back there. So if you want a wine glass, then the table at the back, and the pizzas will continue coming. Okay, enjoy the break, guys.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, balls of fire. I laughed at love cause I thought it was funny. But you came along and you proved me, honey. I changed my mind, this love is mine. Goodness gracious, balls of fire. Kiss me, baby. Ooh, that feels good, baby. Hold me, baby. I wanna love you like a lover should. If I, it's so kind, I'ma tell the world that you're mine.
Taking place. A simple pair of spectacles is unlocking a world of possibilities. Through our partnership with Air Mercy Service, Metropolitan Health, a subsidiary of Momentum Health, is delivering essential eye care to those who need it most. Together we are transforming lives, one vision at a time.
Okay. Temperature 10, 2.7. King Shaka International Airport Tango, 0432. Expect 6 and stars in use zone BMC. Runway 24.
As a non-profit humanitarian organization, AMS is running more than 58 years in South Africa. We have various operations. We do helicopter emergency medical services, rescue services. We also do a flagship program that is commonly known as Flying Doctor Service, but we refer to it as the outreach program. We support on the outreach program many hospitals, and instead of bringing hundreds of patients to the urban areas, we tend to provide access to these specialists in the rural areas. In the latest project, Metropolitan Health, a subsidiary of Momentum Health, have graciously sponsored an eye care program.
There's no question that the need is there. Even just accessing something as simple as spectacles that in the private sector you'd be able to get within a week. In public sector, you're looking at for some years before they're able to get spectacles. And understanding that a corrective device like spectacles can dramatically transform a person's life.
Majority of the patients that are seen here in this hospital are areas where eye care services, optometrists are not available. We normally refer our patients to Pietermaritzburg for eye care services, which is close to 200 kilometers from here.
It's the most rewarding experience to give someone what they need when they need it, in the place that they need it, because if we were to travel, they would be required to travel for a minimum of 3 days just to get access to an optometrist. So by us seeing up to 100 patients per day, we have done in 1 day what might normally take up to 6 months or even a year.
Support like this really makes outreach possible. There's hundreds of patients that receive clinical care, but also the spectacles. And this was all done free of charge because of the sponsorship. It's not just eye care. We have different needs in all fraternities of health. So the more support we have, the greater impact we can have in community, and access to healthcare can be achieved.
Partnering with AMS is helping AMS have arms and reach those people that you might not be able to reach in another way. And the impact of that, it's significant.
From diagnosis to delivery of spectacles, every step we take brings hope, clarity, and a brighter future. These numbers represent more than just patients. They represent lives transformed, dreams realized, and communities empowered. In partnership with Air Mercy Service, we are proud to bring life-changing eye care to South Africa's rural communities.
At Century Avionics, we offer a wide range of avionics solutions for aviation platforms, including fixed and rotor wing glass cockpit upgrades. We excel in avionics sales and marketing, installations, repairs and maintenance, support, and certification to the highest standards.
So hi everyone, my name is Chris. I'm the owner of Moya Aviation, and I'm also one of the pilots and instructors at our charter company and the flight school. A wide range of experienced instructors, both on the heli and fixed wing side, as well as ranging from sling pilots and film pilots to charter pilots on the helicopter side, with thousands of hours of experience. Hi, my name's Andrew. I'm a helicopter pilot, focusing mainly on the charter aspects of things. And yeah, what I love about it here is just how no 2 days are the same.
1-8, start is approved, report ready for lift.
I just enjoy building relationships with our customers and, you know, having them return to us, greeting them by name as they come back and showing them what they came to experience with us at the first instance. And also show them what South Africa and Cape Town has to offer.
I'm Karika. I do the accounts and charters at Moya Aviation. We are based at the Jet hangar at Cape Town International Airport. At Moya Aviation, we also offer training with helicopter pilots and training.
It also becomes about forging long-term relationships with the clients, and having clients who always want to come back, always want us to plan the next experience and the next adventure. And yeah, just getting to know them better and better each and every time.